our fun fact is McDonald's once made bubblegum flavored broccoli. We don't have to do that one though.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And Geico saves 15%
Facts.
or more on car insurance.
Facts, bro.
Welcome
Geico.
to the second episode of the TDP
Yes,
podcast.
yeah, we're back. I know you might not be very happy to hear that, but we are back. So, yeah. How about that? McDonald's making bubblegum broccoli. Let's talk about that. That's the big news today.
The whole 20+ minute episode is just
So that sounds like it would cause some medical issues. Like that really sounds like it's just cancer waiting to be developed when you're 60, 70 years old.
So that sounds like a heart attack waiting to happen now.
Honestly, I mean,
that's not
how do they engineer
70,
broccoli? How do they engineer broccoli to make taste like bubblegum? Ooh, actually, I have a little story time.
Why does McDonald's sell broccoli? That's my question.
I don't know. It's McDonald's, but I used to go to McDonald's a lot actually. When I used to live in Hendersonville, and I would always go up to Chattanooga to see family, right? And my mom, she always got tea from McDonald's, like non-sweet tea or whatever. And I would always get like the slushy, like the little fruit slushy, and they were pretty yummy. I'm not gonna lie. But then I threw up like 2 years in a row on Christmas Day, 2 years in a row when we'd go up there, and I have not been in
not again
a McDonald's since. Actually, that's a lie. I haven't bought from McDonald's since. I don't think.
Nice.
So, besides maybe a fry every now and then. And by every now and then, once in the last 5 years. But
you learned your lesson.
I learned my lesson. I don't mess with McDonald's anymore, man. It's not the move.
I had McDonald's today. I was coming home from Ohio. That's why we didn't. The fun fact. That's why we didn't upload for the last 3 days since our first episode is because I was in Ohio visiting
it's like a lot
cousins.
of hours.
So I was visiting cousins. So I was on my way back from Ohio today, a 5-hour car ride. And we stopped for McDonald's earlier today. So I was like, and so my brother had gotten this smoothie.
That's it, bro. That's the smoothie. Oh no.
And
those things are cancer.
And my sister got one too. And so my mom was like, Andrew, you want a smoothie or you just want water? She didn't even have to finish the sentence because I know smoothies from McDonald's are just the worst.
Yeah, no, don't ever. If you were an avid McDonald's user, and by user, and I say user because it's an addiction and it's a drug, and drugs poison you.
McDonald's.
Just stop. Don't give that company money. They make cancerous food.
I mean, it's not healthy.
Yeah, it's not. It's not healthy.
Chicken nuggets are pretty good, but everything else,
food is just. I can't. I think it was my dad. He taught me to just despise McDonald's for some reason as a young boy, and then I threw up 3-4 times because of it. So,
lesson learned.
Yeah, but So the topic of today's episode, we're gonna be covering all the big bowl games that have gone down. At the end of the episode, we might even make our predictions on the Texas A&M North Carolina game. Because
right currently now, going on right now.
Yeah, as we're recording it, it just got at halftime. Literally, the game just got back on going. So let's start out with the big ones, the college football playoffs, and Ohio State going Clemson, who their daddy is. I mean, they really just
Dude.
Number 11. That was embarrassing.
I have to speak for the side of Clemson here. It's just you Dabo, he talked so the dirtiest, he was and to be fair, Ohio State really in my eyes does not deserve to
was it A&M who's was it
yes,
A&M?
It was A&M.
It was A&M.
5 and
I thought A&M
robbed.
should have been in it.
100%.
For a while there I wanted Iowa State to be in it, but then they lost to Oklahoma. But that's not important. What's important is that Clemson got its butt spanked, man. They really just I don't know what happened. I thought Clemson was going to win the whole thing. I thought they were honestly
was going to win
a better team than Alabama, but nope.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. So I was talking with a friend earlier, and he brought up a really good point. And he was like, and he's a big Clemson fan, and he's like, so really, Ohio State won as big as they did is because they only played 6 games prior to this one. They aren't as tired.
Oh, come on.
And I was 10-2 Clemson, and I was like, you're right, but at the same time, it's also Clemson. Like besides that Notre Dame loss, they've been winning. Yeah. So
they're not.
So I think that I definitely don't think Ohio State should be in. I really don't. The fact that the Big Ten changed their entire rules just so a team of their division could get into the playoffs, to me, is absolutely ridiculous. No 6-win team should ever be in the top 4, in my opinion, no matter how many games they play.
Then again, COVID has never happened before, and that obviously impacted the schedule. But until then, they played good teams. I'm not discounting that they played.
Oh no, they played good teams. I'm just saying,
teams, but they played
not enough.
They only played 6 games.
Yeah, it's not enough games. But with that said, they show up last night and absolutely destroyed Clemson. Like, I was watching it with I really wanted it to be a close game. So Ohio State had come in and they absolutely blew Clemson out of the water. And that kind of says something about how Clemson, were they really mentally prepared?
I think they thought it was a cakewalk.
Ohio State, and I think that Dabo, and I mean he tweeted out, he's like, I didn't mentally prepare the team enough, and I agree, because they had come in, seen that Ohio State had only won 6 games, so they were like, oh, this team can't compete with us, the number 2 team in the country. So they definitely misjudged them for a little bit. But there is a call that I do want to cover while we're on this game, and it's that targeting call. James Skalski got ejected last night for a very, very questionable targeting call. Mm-hmm. And if you go back and look at the clip, he did lead the tackle with his helmet. And the definition by rule of a targeting call is leading the tackle with the front of the helmet. And he hit Justin Fields. Justin Fields was scrambling, by the way. This wasn't like an in-pocket type thing. So he was scrambling. He came out. He tried to spin away from James, and he hit him with the head. So I was looking at comments and stuff on like every single Instagram post I could find about it. And it was the same thing. It was like Justin Fields was spinning, so he didn't have time to like hit with his shoulder, or like it was Justin Fields' fault because he spun into the head. Mm-hmm. Personally, I think it was an eject. I think it was a targeting call, because no matter what he did, he led with his helmet first, and he was not really. There was no indication of him leading with the shoulder or trying to. So honestly, I agree with the ejection call. It doesn't mean it's completely right. I think that if I had to pick a side, he would have definitely been thrown for targeting. But the thing is, this same guy got ejected last year against LSU for targeting. Nevertheless, I mean, he hit Justin Fields straight in the ribs, straight in the ribs. And Justin Fields was in pain, and he was wincing, and there is a clip of him like screaming out in pain when he's trying to get on like the cycle. So but he came back and he threw
he went off.
So I
think that gave me more like juice to keep going,
But I think that Justin Fields just saw that as more motivation, like you said, and I think that he didn't want to lose this Clemson team, who, their head coach said that they were truly ranked number 11.
So, to bring it back around to the now, Matt, well, obviously Alabama, Notre Dame, that was Alabama slaughtered them. I mean, I was kind of pulling for Notre Dame. I just didn't think they have any chance. I mean, you literally look at Mac Jones, Najee Harris, Devontae Smith combined has 80 touchdowns. 80 touchdowns between 3 people. That's probably more than that's more than Vanderbilt for sure. I doubt there's any way that Vanderbilt has 80 touchdowns. Probably more than some NFL teams. I honestly think that Alabama could beat some of the NFL teams right now.
100%.
I mean,
100%. And I mean, the pure talent.
The pure talent. All 3 of these guys are NFL bound, and all 3 of them are first-round picks. I'm pretty sure they're all going to the draft this year too. And that's actually might be a big hit for Alabama, because that's, again, 80 touchdowns. I mean, 20 receiving touchdowns. That is incredible. 1,641 yards and 20 touchdowns. amazing. 1,387 yards and 24 touchdowns. And then Mac Jones had 4,336 yards
and
with 36 touchdowns.
And do remember that this Alabama team has only played 12 games. This quarterback has thrown for 4,000 yards. The NFL season is comprised of 17 weeks, 16 games. Some QBs don't even break like 2,500. And so, you look at Mac Jones and how stacked the Alabama offense is, and you've got Devontae Smith, who I believe is the Heisman winner. And then you got Najee Harris, who just ended a Notre Dame defender's life with a hurdle. This offense cannot be stopped.
Here's a little fun fact. Cam Newton the Patriots quarterback, currently has 2,415 yards and 5 touchdowns just in 2020. Mac Jones has 36 touchdowns and 4,336 yards. That is, Cam Newton is a pro. He's he used to be pretty good.
Yeah.
Used to be. And Mac Jones is, he really he showed him up. Mac Jones is for real. So Mac Jones, he had 4,336 yards and 36 touchdowns, obviously. Look at Kyle Trask. He had 4,283 yards and 43 touchdowns, which, that's a better season than Mac Jones. Not gonna lie. Then you look at Joe Burrow from last year. Man's had 5,671 yards and 60 touchdowns in 2019. These are solid numbers. And Joe Burrow is probably one of the best college quarterbacks to ever play the game.
The point of us bringing up all these stats is that we're comparing Mac Jones to these super high level, because people didn't think much of Mac Jones before this season because he was benched behind Tua and Jalen Hurts and all that stuff. They're considerably close.
Yeah, they're good numbers. I don't think honestly anything compares with Joe Burrow against what I was saying earlier. But him and Kyle Trask, they're actually really close when you look at it. And I'm surprised Florida didn't do I feel like Florida was a better team than their record showed. Yeah, back to the big bowl games. One that really hits home to me today, Iowa State, Oregon. I am an Iowa State fan, and they did really, really well, actually. I feel like Iowa State is a much better team than, again, their record shows. Yeah, they're 9-3. I feel like when Brock Purdy is playing good, because, Breece Hall, he's a go-ahead. He's amazing. In the game alone, he had 2 touchdowns, 136 yards. Yeah. When Brock Purdy's playing good, this team is almost, honestly, they're almost unstoppable. They put up 34 against Oregon, who's a good team. And they beat Oklahoma early in the year. I think they almost beat Oklahoma State as well. They went up against some good teams. They beat Texas in a close one. This team is good, but the reason they lost to Oklahoma in the Big Ten championship is because, honestly, I feel like Brock Purdy was off. And when he's off, this team can't win. But when he is, I feel like they are really good teams.
So basically, the Iowa State offense runs off of the dynamic of Brock Purdy. And personally, I think I've watched Brock Purdy play. I think he's an amazing QB. I think he has a lot to learn, a lot to improve. He's got to take those losses and learn off of them. But a big win in a bowl game, it says something for this Iowa State team.
Yeah, so for real. I feel like, and Matt Campbell, he's turned this franchise around.
He really has.
4 years ago, this team was nothing. Really, this team, you didn't hear about Iowa State, and now they're number 10 in the country. He's done some incredible things.
Big props to the Iowa State committee. They're doing exceptionally well, and they look I think personally they have a bright future.
They do. Next up, we have Ole Miss and Indiana. Ole Miss won.
That's just it's caught me off guard.
Yeah.
I was like, there's no way.
I was watching that game, and it was honestly getting pretty boring for a little bit. And then look at the scores. It was 6-7, 7-6, 1, 2, 3, 4 quarters for Ole Miss. And then you see Indiana goes in the first quarter 3 points, second quarter none, third quarter 3, and then fourth quarter gets 14 points.
14.
They almost came back. Valiant effort by number 11 Indiana, but Ole Miss they beat them out. They're the better team that game. So congrats to them.
I think that Indiana was unmotivated to win this game. I think that again, a similar situation to the Clemson Ohio State is that I think Indiana thought that this was going to be an easier game than it had turned out to be, and I think that they were unprepared to play this, even record Ole Miss team who is definitely on the decline this season. But
I don't know if that was that. I think Ole Miss just played really good defense still, and it was a pretty boring game up until the fourth quarter when Indiana made a comeback, but they couldn't pull it out. So congrats to Ole Miss on the big, nice bowl game. Next up, we got NC State versus Kentucky, another upset and another, almost comeback by NC State. They didn't have any points till halftime, and then they scored 21 in the third and fourth quarter. But it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. It's never enough. You have to consistently put up points.
I think that's a pattern we're learning with these upset games, and there's more to come. There's a lot more of these that we cover this episode. But you're going to see the same pattern, and if you go back and watch highlights of the game, it's constantly it's inconsistency throughout the first half. The second half, you play better football, but by that time, it's too late, and you can't pull it back. And Kentucky is one of those teams where they either have really good games or really poor games. So I think that Kentucky should celebrate their win, but focus next year. Like we gotta get a better record up, and they need to start.
Kentucky can be good. It's just they don't always click. They really got to get it together. But next up we have neither of these teams are ranked, but we have Appalachian State and North Texas, and Appalachian State absolutely just destroyed North Texas, put a 56-28. And I'm asking, how is Appalachian State not ranked? They're 9-3. That is Iowa State's record, and they're ranked number 10.
Exactly.
They have the same record as the number 10 team. How are they not ranked? I know they play in an easier division, but still, I feel like they're better than Oregon. I really do. I feel like they're a better team than Oregon, who's ranked 25. Oregon is 4-3. I feel like Appalachian State would destroy Oregon.
Now,
I think that's just disrespectful, honestly.
And I just want to I want to run you through the score sheet real quick. In the first quarter, they dropped 14. Second quarter, they dropped 21. Third quarter, they dropped 7, and fourth quarter, they dropped 14 for a total of 56. I don't care who you're playing against. That's impressive.
That's wild, man. Look at the running back. 22 carries, 317 yards, five touchdowns. 5 touchdowns. Moving on, we got Liberty and Coastal Carolina. That's
another upset. Upset.
Apparently, Liberty was ranked earlier.
They were ranked. They took a loss.
They lost to NC State. So
okay.
NC State, North Carolina State, which they're a good team too. But they beat Coastal Carolina. I remember there was a lot of hype around that game because both of these teams you have not heard of. Like they're nobody teams. Not to be offensive to them, but they're not.
Here's a better way of rephrasing that to make it sound less offensive. They weren't expected to be as good as they were this year.
They weren't expected to be good at all. They're from, I don't even know what conference they're from. You don't really hear about Coastal Carolina or Liberty. But then, the Liberty running back, Malik Willis, 21 carries, 173 yards, 137 yards, 4 touchdowns. Pretty good. And then the quarterback for Coastal Carolina, he had a great game too, 318 yards and 3 touchdown passes. It just wasn't enough to pull this victory out for Coastal Carolina.
Yeah, I think Liberty really handed it to this Coastal Carolina team is that you've really got to focus. This is Coastal Carolina's first bowl game. They come in amazing. This coach has brought this team so far, and he got them into a bowl game, and they just fumbled the bag.
I'm gonna have to disagree about handling the business because they won by a field goal in overtime. They are the better team. Clearly, they won, but I don't know if they hand them the business per se. Next,
big game now.
Miami.
Oklahoma State and Miami is another upset.
Wow, 21 in the first quarter for Oklahoma State, by the way. That's big numbers.
That's impressive.
And then they got another 13 in the fourth and a field goal in the third quarter. What concerns me with that, though, is, they put up 21 big, and then they kind of fell off. And then they brought it up again. Yeah, but I mean, Miami, I thought Miami would win that game. Miami's a good team, man. And
Yeah, prayers
Oklahoma
up
State
to
is
Derek
too.
King, who is now hurt, but
Yeah,
that is
he's incredible. He's a great player.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
But good game. Oklahoma State, Miami just couldn't pull it out, man. I really wanted Miami to win that game, honestly. But it is what it is. Huge game. Next. Florida, Oklahoma. Wow. Oklahoma that was not a pretty game for Florida, man.
No, that was I was watching that game, so I was in Ohio, and it was just we couldn't believe that Florida was getting beat this bad.
Yeah, it was bad, dude. They had Kyle Pitts, Kyle Trask, all of the Kyles, and it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, I was surprised. Frankly, for the SEC, he was talking about how the head coach for Florida was talking about how Oklahoma was not the best team. Like, they weren't SEC level, and clearly, that is not true.
They are. Yeah, they're a competitive team. Spencer Rattler had a great game. Next up, not a great one, San Jose State, Ball State. Not a lot of people paid attention, but a big upset actually for Ball State. They put up 27 in the first quarter.
That's a lot. Incredible.
And then they scored another touchdown in the third. And that was the only points they actually scored that game. But yeah, that was a big upset actually. So
I feel like San Jose was not getting enough credit this season for doing as well as they are, and they are now ranked for the first time at number 22.
Mm-hmm.
But after this game, they're probably going to become unranked. Ball State had the same record, 7. They're both 7-1.
Yeah,
I think Ball State just wanted it again. It's just they wanted to win more, and I think that they really wanted to prove themselves, and they did.
Here's a big one. 24 Tulsa gets beat by Mississippi. You see that fight? That was a big fight, man. That was the highlight of that game, man. I mean, that was trending everywhere, dude. I'm pretty sure they ripped some dude's helmet and tried to kick him. Really can't do I mean, it was interesting though.
Yeah.
Georgia, Cincinnati. Andrew, you're a Georgia fan. How do you feel about this win?
It was a sloppy game, but at the same time, to see those two high-ranked teams fight it out, and I do have to give props to Cincinnati, man. They have really turned their program around. Like, they were terrible, and they were.
There's actually a lot of that this year.
Oh, there was a ton of that this year.
Yeah, unknown teams, building back up. Liberty, Coastal Carolina.
It was exciting to watch those teams.
Yeah, it was. And then it was wild. Georgia was kind of getting beat bad.
We're losing 21-10, and I was watching the game. I had texted my dad. He said he wasn't watching anymore, which does not surprise me. But I was watching it, and I was like, there's no way that Georgia is going to go out like that. And sure enough, they came back. And I mean, we have to give props to this kicker who made this last second. So this was not only his first career game-winning field goal, it was also his longest career field goal at 54 yards. And I mean, the amount of pressure that was on that guy, and the first time kicking from that far away in that type of circumstance in a bowl game. I mean,
Clutch.
No matter which team you rooted for, I mean, so much props had to be given to that kicker. So obviously a huge moment for him. So that's amazing. Cincinnati, I was watching ESPN before the game, and they said if Cincinnati does not win this game, they hadn't really proved that they're a true 9-0 team. And I think that's completely false. I think that Cincinnati will take this loss, really make it some fire and some motivation. And I think they're 100% going to bounce back. I believe in Cincinnati.
It's not like they're I think they should keep the rank at 8. They only lost by 3 points in a last-second field goal.
And the only reason it was 3 points is because Georgia got a last-second safety. That's literally it.
Which was very clutch. I didn't watch the game, but actually, I watched some of it. I watched the first and third quarter, which are really random, but I watched a little bit of it. I didn't see the whole thing, but I mean, wow, props to Georgia. Too bad for Cincinnati, but Cincinnati's a good team, man.
I think they're 100% going to bounce back. No question.
Cincinnati can compete, man. I didn't take them that seriously until now, but they're legit.
Yep. All right, one of our last ones, Auburn and Northwestern. Northwestern was ranked number 14 this year. Northwestern had a very good season.
They did, yeah.
Very
and then
impressed.
what's weird? I mean, not weird, but Auburn fired their head coach. I forget his name, but I know they fired him. I know a lot of Auburn fans, so that's tragic. And they liked him too. He was a good coach. He had like a lot of good seasons, but I mean, he just had one bad season.
It's game over.
Yeah, that shows you how competitive it is though in coaching. You know, some people think like, you know, how did this dude hold his job that long? But some people, they stick around. They try and put faith in them. But if they can't deliver, it's over. And I guess Auburn just demands deliverance every year, and he couldn't give it to him this year. And they axed him. I think it was just a bad game from Auburn, but I think they can bounce back. I don't think this is a bad team. I just think they had a down year. You know, they might have another down year or two, but I think they're going to be back. I think Auburn's going to be back. And, props to Northwestern, obviously. Mm-hmm. They were the better team. Not even close. They beat Auburn pretty bad, but still.
We're looking forward to reacting to the Alabama-Ohio State game. Yep. I don't know if we're going to be reacting to it live or not. It just depends, but we're definitely going to be paying attention to it.
Yeah, we'll cover it. Don't worry.
It says here that tickets are as low as $945, so
where's it being played?
Not going to that in real life.
I don't know. I mean, dude, the fact that people are still like going to football games. I mean, the fact that like people are like still going out. Like I saw a lot of people going out for parties and New Year's. That's just like I couldn't do that, man. Like I had a small get together, like 3 people, and they're all family today.
Right.
Like, how do you go to a big party during the Ronin, man? I don't get it. Like, it's weird if I see like, if I'm like in a gas station with like more than like 10 people, I'm like freaked out. It's weird. But so we have to make our predictions for Texas A&M, North Carolina, and North Carolina actually scored a touchdown recently. It's Texas A&M ball with 4:27 left in the third. I'm saying North Carolina. I think North Carolina is going to win this game. I think they're going to upset Texas A&M. That's just my opinion.
I'm going to go the opposite. I think that Texas A&M can hold out their position. I think Texas A&M can kick it into gear in the fourth.
Yeah.
When this episode ends, I'm going to go watch the rest of it. But I definitely think it will be a good game. I mean, we've been looking back and forth at the scores for this entire episode. So that's going to wrap it up for our second episode. I would like to say thanks for all the support on the first one. It was amazing to see all that. We are now available on 7 different platforms.
Yeah,
our link to our Linktree is in our Instagram, and it's going to be in the YouTube description.
Yep.
So if you want to go take a look at that and see all the platforms we're on, you can.
All right. So thank you guys for watching. And we will catch you next time. So thank you.